appointed new members. Well, nominated is what we should say, but in this sense, it probably means one and the same thing. He's appointed, he's nominated, because those ministers that have been nominated must be brought before the Senate for approval. So now, Mr. President, no doubt, is Otumba in Abeokuta. Good morning. Good morning. Can you hear us?
Yeah, good morning. I'm hearing you.
Okay, sir.
I'm hearing you, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir. Go ahead. Go
ahead.
Good
morning. And good morning to your guests.
Okay. Thank you.
I am hearing you.
Okay.
What I want to say is that, Uncle Yori, this cabinet is still too large. There is austerity in the land, hardships, hunger in the land. So the government should trim the cabinet to the normal 37, and not only the cabinet, the departments and agencies too. We should reflect the system. We should reflect the situation that we are not in a normal situation. And then number two, I read that Diko, who was allegedly dismissed over corruption allegation as supposed to commission the DG, is back to his government. Why should that be? Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning. Thank you very much for calling in, Otumba. What do you think about the size of the cabinet, that these austere times might have been reflected in governance and this whole idea of reducing the cost of governance?
Yes, I agree with him. Ordinarily, and I've said it on my blog several times, but I think I'm getting more charitable these days because I realize that it's one of the evils or one of the downsides of democracy. When people help you to win election, everybody wants to take part in sharing the power. So sometimes the pressure, I don't wish to put myself in the position of defending the government, but I like to also call it the way it is. So in at least the first year, okay, I can understand that, okay, trying to satisfy as many people as possible that help him to get there. And that even reflected in his first appointment. But 1 year is over. I think Baba is now backtracking, now trying to then get on with the order of governance after satisfying a lot of people who help him get to power. This is nobody won by themselves. So maybe in that extent, I may give him a little pass. Hopefully, he starts to consolidate, as you have seen him do with Ministry of Culture and Tourism, collapse that into one, and maybe continue to do that. Yes, cost of governance is high in these austere times, but I don't think it's those more ministries that is making that's going to make a big difference in terms of the money they are spending. The budget is going to be the budget. The salary of the ministers, they are not as consequential as those in our National Assembly. So if we are talking about austere times and we need to cut more money, it's those National Assembly guys that need to reduce their money by at least 50%. Because that will be consequential. Because each of them are going on with, maybe from what I'm hearing, 29, 30 million a month. They've got 160 million cars, they want more. So I agree to cut it short that we need to reduce the cost of governance. But for governance to get to the grassroots, we need to have many power centers. So in that sense too, maybe, okay, our complaint should be the people that are there. It's not that there's too many power centers, in other words, many ministries or ministers of state, are they performing? That to me should be the focus. Because if they are performing, what will benefit? It's like having many local governments. They're not going to say local government is too many if they are performing. It is when they are not performing that the issue becomes, oh, we're spending so much money on this.
Yeah.
So let's watch. I think, again, some ministers that should have been fired were not fired. But Mr. President cannot do everything in one day. So I have to give him that. But as for cost of governance, it's neither here nor there when it comes to ministries, in my own personal opinion. Breaking, for instance, the Ministry of Delta, Niger Delta, into those 4 constituent parts will cost us more money, but we're going to have more development. Because now they're going to be more focused into their regional areas. So I typically don't focus on number.
Okay, let me pause and bring on Reverend Dominic in Alimosho here. Good morning, Reverend.
Good morning, Uncle Yodi. How are you today?
Very well, sir. Thank you for calling in. Go ahead.
I greet your guest in America. He's very robust. I wish I were him in America. Yori, I want... He's very robust. He's America. He's very looking fine. You know, he's in America, he's not in Nigeria. He's a brother I know closely. But Yori, I want to say this.
Sure.
There's something you must give this president. He's bold to do what he wants to do. Unlike the last administration, that people sit down and sit down and sit down. We don't know why they're sitting down or why they're standing up. But this man is bold. But I want to say this with all due respect, respectfully. There's something I expected in this particular cabinet reshuffle, is to share the weight of what we call a burden of governance. I thought we could have moved from that 48, if I'm sure. I don't know how many we are. Either 48 or 49 or 40, I don't know. I thought we have shared it to something like 36 or 37 because of the way things are in Nigeria today. Respectfully, this president is bold. This president knows what to do, but the politics is over. I had somebody say, call me the other day, your sister have been appointed, Dominic Ojukwu. What does it make any difference? Whether we have 3 ministers and Nigeria work, whether we have 5 ministers and Nigeria work, what if Dominic Ojukwu have to do for me, who is hungry, who cannot buy food in my tank, who could not even feed very well? This is gospel truth. What does it do to me? The politics is over. It's all about the Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba. If it is only Yoruba people that can give us governance, what is big deal? America is a continent. They don't have up to 20 ministers, but their system is working. What I'm trying to say, what I expected in this reshuffle, I was praying that earnestly, is cutting down the cabinet. Sacking 5 and putting 7 doesn't go well with me because of hunger. I may be wrong, but I'm doing it respectfully. The burden of governance is much. If you give me 1 second, I will give you history of Niger Delta Ministry quickly. When that Delta Ministry was mooted in 2003, 2004, Obasanjo refused to sign that bill, if you remember. The National Assembly had to vote on it. Our argument then, I was on the side of Mr. President. Do Niger Delta want development of bureaucracy? To bring another bureaucracy in that bureaucracy, that don't go down with me. You know what happened in National Assembly the other day about that ministry? If you're managing a little 12, 13 states and there's no development, how can you manage the whole Nigeria and you get development? What's about development here, not appointment? The president is bold, the president is wonderful, but we need to share the cabinet. It's too heavy. Please, I want your guest to tell me how many we are. Are we 48 or 49? I don't know, honestly. I don't know how many ministers we have in Nigeria. As a Nigerian, as a little bit educated I am, I don't know how many ministers we have today. I think the burden is heavy. We need to do something quickly so we can feed and breathe. God bless Nigeria.
Okay, then. Thank you very much, Reverend Dominic. Well, okay, that sort of relates to what you were saying earlier.
That's an interesting comment, but I will keep insisting that we are focusing on numbers rather than on results. Nigeria can even have 100 ministers that will actually make Nigeria better. Nigeria is too big. There is development needed everywhere. And the more people we have that are focused on specific portfolios, in my personal opinion, the better. Nigerians who are counting, it's 48, it's 50. You are just being penny-wise, pound foolish, in my own personal opinion, not to be disrespectful, that it should not be about that. It's because the more, we all say that when power is localized, is when you get more results. So if that's what you are saying, then complaining about whether they have 40 or 50 or 60 should not be the issue. The issue is this minister that they put here, what is he or she doing? If he's not performing, Mr. President, to fire him. I want to quickly put this in there in case I never get another opportunity.
Okay.
For those in opposition to the government, you have just witnessed Mr. President's weak point here. The man listens to the people. So engage him constructively. This is not in a way that is destructive. The man listens. All those 7 people, I just want to check, they were all hand very low by the people. So that means Mr. President is checking to see what the people are saying about his government. So if we can engage him constructively as the opposition, for those of you in opposition, maybe we can make Nigeria better because he listens. I just wanted to put that in there, unlike the previous government, where if you like, talk anyone you want, the man just looking at you. Mr. President has people who are monitoring the pulse of the nation, and you see that anytime there's agitation in a particular area, he does something. And I have to give him that credit on air. That's democracy. You don't have to agree with him, how he solved the problem, but he listens. Okay, so that I just want to put that one in there. Because,
all right.
Rather than not engaging in dragging and all of that stuff.
Okay, Omar, Mr. Omar in K2, good morning. Omar in K2, are you still there?
No, good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for calling. Go ahead, please.
Yes, good morning. Yes, yes, I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay, all right. So the thing is, many Nigerians are very disappointed with the new nomination of 7 other ministers after sacking 5 of them. Because one thing I know for sure is that, you know, some of these ministers of state and stuff like that, we don't need them. We don't really need them. They need to reduce the numbers of ministers, engage so many of them with so many, like they did during the Buhari regime, where he merged about 3 ministries under Fashola, and Fashola did fantastically well in those 3
Who told
ministries
you?
during the Buhari administration. So most of these ministers of state, they are just, in fact, I can categorically say that there are some ministers who have not even heard of them ever since they were appointed into this cabinet. They are even ashamed to even speak out about the administration where they are serving under. I don't think the president really needs to appoint more ministers when we already have been overloaded cabinet in this country. He should have reduced them, or even those that you think that you can just reshuffle them, merge them just like you did in the Minister of Sport and others, merge them together, appoint more of them, give them more responsibility. They will perform excellently well, rather than having more, because all these political, say you want to engage them because of political reasons and all that. Nigerians don't need those things, to be honest.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Mr. Omar. It goes to the point that Okwe has commented on that, look, well, as Okwe, as you were saying, you say focusing on the number might be missing the point. But there it is, Omar is also, it is his opinion that we don't need as many ministers as we have.
I think most Nigerians like to focus on those issues because it gives them talking points. But I'm saying we want to get efficiency rather than number or no numbers. It's like saying, like what they did with Fashola that he's talking about. I think that was one of the worst decisions of the Buhari government, giving 3 portfolios to one man. Okay, they basically, to me, they almost wanted to destroy the legacy of Fashola with that. Anybody who says he performed excellently in those 3 portfolios, they don't know what they are talking about. The results don't say that, even though it's an excellent administrator. So more decentralization, in my personal opinion, the better. And they are ministers of state. Okay, they are ministers of state, many of those people that he appointed. So it is to get this bureaucracy down more to the grassroots. In my personal opinion, although I'm not put in a situation where I'm defending this government, I don't want to defend the government. I want to be a critic so that way we can force the government to do better. But I also have to call it, I don't see it that way.
Okay. Mr. Abdullahi in Apapa, good morning to you, sir.
Yes, Uncle Yori, good morning.
Thank you for calling. Good morning.
Okay. I just want to comment on just the person that I've just spoken now.
Yes. Omar?
Who is complaining about the number of ministers.
Okay, that's Omar. Omar Nketu.
Minister of State and Minister of this are not necessary. Hello, sir?
Yes, we can hear you. Please continue.
Okay. I want to tell him that it is a constitutional requirement. We don't have 36 ministries. But the Constitution said that every state must be represented. Every state must have a minister. So if we don't have 36 ministries and 36 people must be given ministers, then there must be a minister of state. So that one, I don't fault the president. The president cannot do anything about the number of ministers as far as it is up to 36. But my only concern here is that if the president said he rated minister, he look at their performance to see whether they are performing well or not performing well. That is the basis for the reshufflement of the cabinet. I don't see what Bianca is coming here to do. Yes, I don't see what she is coming here to do. You just give us that reason, but he has other political motives. That is just my take.
Indeed.
About the cabinet reshuffle that has taken place. Yes. It's not truly based on performance.
What?
Yes.
Okay.
And if it should be on performance, I think the Minister of Power should have gone. Because since he did, nothing changed. Nothing changed. Since Adelabu came into this place, nothing changed. There was no improvement in the power supply. There was nothing. They increased the tariff. They did everything, and there was nothing to show up for it.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Abdullahi. Thank you. Appreciate your call, Abdullahi. Okay.
Yes, it's one of those guys. Adelabu is one of those guys that people feel should have been fired because results should be what is measured or what you are measured by. I don't have a problem with Bianca Ojukwu. I think that's a very strategic and good move. Not only is it a good nod to the East, who have felt a little bit neglected, even though, in my personal opinion, in terms of appointment, there's never been excessive against them. But it's an iconic figure and also somebody who had an experience. People look at Bianca, they see how fine she is, and they think she's not smart. But she was ambassador to Spain or something. And she did a good job there, at least as far as we can tell. So for me, it's neither here nor there. It's not as if the Minister of the External Affairs Minister right now, before her, was doing an excellent job. What exactly are we gaining internationally right now? So for me, it's neither here nor there. We're going to judge Bianca on her own merit, whether she's going to be able to perform or not. We should focus on centers of development. The more the government put people and give them authority to do stuff in smaller areas, the more this power can devolve. We are all complaining now because many of the ministers who are not doing their job. They are not doing a great job. And that's what we should focus on. And that's what we should
is Mr. Abdullahi still on the line? Okay. Okay. So sorry, Okwe. I was hearing someone on the line, but I've been told it's a Joseph from Ogun State. Good morning, Joseph, in Ogun State. Joseph? Oh, no. Joseph, if you called, can you hear us? Joseph in Ogun State, yo. Why are you folding our hand now? Joseph, why are you folding our hand in Ogun State? Well,
maybe there's no power. That's why they are complaining about Mr. Power Minister.
Joseph in Ogun State has folded my hand. Please continue. Please
That's
continue.
my state, too. Calm down.
Yeah. But so, as was being pointed out by Abdullahi, you know, there's a constitutional requirement too. And so that sort of gives us a base minimum. No matter how, you know, how much we want to sort of manage our affairs, be frugal, so to speak, we have a commitment. The Constitution commits the president to select a minister from every state. And so when you look at it, maybe that's part of the answer to Omar, who called in, saying that there were far too many ministers. We don't need ministers of state.
Again, I'm for efficiency rather than numbers. So why is Mr. President in the street still the Minister of Petroleum? That part I want to know. Because he cannot tell us that being Minister of Petroleum is not distracting him from being able to have the global outlook on his government. I think it's about time it takes that plunge. I know that this has been the trend for the past 3 or 4 presidents, but to me, it's not efficient. It's not efficient for Mr. President to also make himself the Minister of Petroleum. We need somebody with domain experience there. Mr. President has not been in oil business before. So yes, he's the president. And he has great guys he can put in charge. You should put them, trust them, and then you do your global overseeing. I've never figured that out, and I was expecting that Tinubu would be the first person to make that move because it's the kind of move he will make and say, listen, this is not my team. This we should get, if we can have minister for housing, why we not have a minister for petroleum? Why should he be the president? Because there are some meetings that are supposed to be going on almost every day in that ministry. They're supposed to be strategizing and all that. Mr. President cannot do that while it's also supervising 48 or 49 other ministers of state. So I expected to see that. I did not see. I expected finance minister to be moved? Because you don't want to talk about who should have been moved. Let me force it on you, sir.
Well,
why? Only
yeah. Since the president didn't remove them, then there's no point, talking about those that the president, with all of his people, advising. But I think somebody broached the subject. The Minister of Power, that one, you hear somebody saying that actually he wouldn't have been surprised if the Minister of Power had been affected. I guess there might have been a number of people, but again, you don't know the lens through which these things are really seen. It was decided that he was not doing a bad job because maybe...
Really?
Well, I mean, I'm just looking at it entirely from the point of view of the president's take. If he had felt that there was any necessity, he maybe might have. But it goes back to one of the things you said. The Minister of Power used to be a banker, right? He was a banker. He was a central...
Exactly. Putting square pegs in round holes is part of my article on my blog. That man should not be there. He knows nothing about power. He has no domain experience. He has no training. He's not been in that sector. It's a smart guy. If you look at his resume, you are going to be afraid. The man is extremely, extremely intelligent and qualified, is what I'm talking about. So it's going to need time to figure it out. Maybe 1 year, maybe he will start doing better now.
Okay.
Eventually, he will figure it out because he's a smart guy. Well, do Nigerians have that 1 year that we just wasted on that, in my personal opinion? Power has not improved. It's gone worse. But he might not figure it out because he's one of the most brilliant guys in this government. I will have to say that for him. But his expertise is not power. And that's the problem. Right now, he's probably going to school, calling some of the boys to teach him all this power stuff before he then figures out with his broad mind what to do. And that is the complaint. And remember, sir, you judge a minister by his performance, regardless of what he's saying, no matter of the English. If you poll Nigerians right now, most are not satisfied with the power. That means the guy's got to go. It's democracy. They need to reassign him or take him out. It's the way it is. You don't leave him there, and then you take out the Jew. Yes.
All right then, Okwe. This is the way people see it. No doubt. You see, we don't even know that this is the end of it. I mean, I wouldn't put it past this administration to come up with a part two. There just might be, who is to say no, if Mr. President so decides that further to the major announcement, take these additions. It's possible. One doesn't know.
I will even bet that that's the next thing. I actually bet Dagaban is not, he's the man very crafty. It will not make sense for him to deplete his cabinet like that. You remember, people's feathers will be ruffled. Some of them got that appointment, let's face it, because either they themselves or their godfather contributed to the winning of the election. And he probably doesn't want to treat these people who supported him the way he was treated as in Jagaban government. You don't just in the Buhari government. You don't throw out your supporters like that. He has to do some groundwork. He has to do some massaging. So I see more will be coming. I can bet on that.
Indeed. Well, as always, it's so enjoyable when we talk with you, Okwe. But we've got to leave it here for later. See what developments come from this. The most important thing is that the president has rejigged his cabinet for better performance. We now, of course, Nigerians are going to be watching with a very keen eye. So, Dr. Okwe Banwo, US-based lawyer, political affairs analyst, thank you as always for coming on the program.
Thank you, sir.
All right, then.
Appreciate it.
Cheers. So that's our program today, then. Do please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Iyori Volare. Bye-bye for now.